the way that people are consuming social media is that they want to like you, right? Like they followed you for a reason. And the more that people like you, the more they're going to want to reach out and buy from you.
If you're someone that's out there complaining about your income not being where it is, look at how much time you're actually putting into this stuff. If you've only got 10 hours a week to grow your business, all I'm saying is shit's going to take a bit longer than that. Welcome to the Success School podcast. We're on episode 140 today. Can you believe we've made 140 episodes? You've subbed in for 20. Well, no, sorry, I made the first 20 on my own solo, and then Steph got jealous and was like, this podcast is so much better than mine. So now she's here.
Mine, which was top-rated, one of the top-rated shows.
Yeah, back in the BizBabe era, you know? Steph, how you feeling?
I feel good. I feel very good.
Do you really?
I do. I feel great. I'm excited. We live in Thailand. We're very lucky.
This is not affirmations.
You're great at marketing.
You're very beautiful, handsome.
No, I do feel good. How do you feel today?
Yeah, I'm pumped. Wearing some swagger. Haven't got out of the closet often.
No.
Josiah asked where I got it from. I said Perth, obviously.
Yeah.
I've had this shit for a while.
Yeah, clearly. Hey, we're excited to dive into a Q&A episode today.
Yep.
Before we do, we are going to go through personal updates, but the questions today are really awesome. We have like a really diverse range of questions today, from some stuff that's going on with our personal lives all the way through to why engagement is low, why you're getting stuck at certain income levels, how you go about reaching out to clients and asking them to rework with you. Like lots of really solid value coming up in this episode.
Where'd the questions come from, and how do people ask questions to get on the podcast? That is a question that you guys should be asking.
Yeah. So questions about questions, probably once a month. And we don't really announce it. I know, just like watch our stories every day. But once a month on our Instagram, become a mega fan, and then you will see. We put up some question box on our Instagram stories, and they come from there. So whenever you see us asking a question on Instagram, which we'll try to ask them on a weekly basis so we can collect them, I think it's probably a better go.
Yep.
But we had about 30 people respond with questions this time around. So picking them was really cool. We do shout you guys out. It's free business advice. We usually charge, a little bit for this sort of advice. So excited to give it to you guys today.
Bit of coin. I'll get into my personal update. I have been on a fat loss journey. So the fork met the road. I don't know if this is the right saying, but in January, I was kind of like, Tim, I think your 34 years of permanent bulking has to come to an end, because if you know what that means, basically I've just been eating my feelings for 34 years and just perma-bulking, trying to get as big as possible. That came to an end. So I'm going to see what's under here. Eventually, when I lose all this fat, I may be chiseled, or I may just look completely average after all this effort. But what does that actually look like? What does a cut look like for Tim? So basically, I'm just running a pharmacy at the moment. So I'm just on all the shit, all the new pharmaceuticals that you can get to help with these things. So particularly one called Retaruteride. It does three things. My doctor says it's really good. Blunts your appetite and helps you burn fat. I can't get into the specifics of the technicals. You guys aren't going to be bored with that. But anyway, on the podcast, if you notice that my face or jaw is looking awfully snatched, please let me know in the comments below, because I've been working on it. 6 kilos down. I'm currently 96 kilos, so want to get down to like 85-ish, I think is going to be a good shredded weight. Are you ready for me to be that sexy? That is the question.
I can't deal with it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do with myself? I won't be able to get my hands off you.
No, you won't.
Retaruteride is a peptide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not like a pharmaceutically prescribed drug, same as like Ozempic, but different, but the same.
It has those properties in it, but it's also
GLP-1s.
like a fat burner type thing.
Yeah, great. Love it. Sounds awesome.
Wouldn't you love to get on it?
Would wish I could take something like that, but unfortunately I don't live in that world, because I am doing everything possible to prepare my body for a child. So you have to be a very good girl.
What about the wines?
Oh, I've cut those way back.
Have you?
You'd be very proud of me. You should be very proud of me. I've cut those way back. Now, my personal update. We've been inspired recently. Guys, they say that you are what you consume. And in Tim's case, it's a hot chip.
Yeah, love a chip.
You are what you consume. And I also,
It's very rich coming from you throwing out shade about chips and eating stuff.
I also love to partake in a, dessert. And
we eat our feelings.
We do. We like eating. We're passionate eaters.
Yeah.
But there's one really, really fast way to get yourself motivated to take a different action, and that is to change your consumption habits. Now, I'm not talking about what you eat. I'm talking about what you watch. And every night, Tim and I lately have been watching YouTube instead of Netflix. There's a lot of reasons why. One, Netflix in Thailand is so shit, by the way. Like, you can't like get access to like half of the stuff and blah, blah, blah. But also because YouTube is obviously educational. And we have fallen down some rabbit holes watching some people do some pretty cool, I guess, like physical activities and physical endeavors, and it's inspired us. And so we've started this 30-day running challenge, and so far we're on day 2. And it's been pretty easy so far because day 1 and 2 have been 1K, then 2Ks, and day 3 we go back to 1K, and then we do 4Ks, and then 5Ks, and then we go back to 1K, and then we do 6Ks and 7Ks, and so on and so forth for 30 days. And we didn't really do the math when we first started the challenge, but day 30 works out to be
20 Ks.
20 kilometers, which is further than I wanted to run, to be honest, in the next 30 days. But here we are. We've undertaken this challenge. We are documenting the whole thing, of course. And it's so far, day 2, I'm feeling good about it. And it's going to help with your fat loss challenge. So
let's just say that running 20 kilometers in Koh Samui, where we live, basically we're going to circumvent the island with that distance. And then you've got to imagine this is a developing country, as they say. So the roads are not particularly flat. There's quite a few potholes, quite a few hazards. There's quite a few places where you could break your ankle, get bitten by a dog or a python. So yeah, it's going to be chaotic. Will Steph and I make it? I would love to know, guys. What are your thoughts? Will we make this challenge?
Will we complete it?
Yeah.
We're putting it here. We complete most things we say out loud on the podcast. So, I'd like to think that we're going to follow through. But anyway, let's dive into our Q&A today. We're kicking off with a question from Carla C. Carla C has asked, I have a relatively large audience, but my engagement is so low and no one is watching my stories and no one is buying my stuff. Tim, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, so I know Carla personally, and we both had a look at her stories, and she was just doing way too much selling. As the episode we spoke about last week, social media, a lot of it is about entertainment now. So you're just going to get downvoted, downregulated in the algorithm if you're just selling all the time on stories. Yes, you can pop the occasional sale in there, but if you're on sale every single day trying to book calls or sell your shit, people are going to switch off very fast. People don't go on social media, believe it or not, guys, to buy your shit and your product. Like, this may be absolutely new news to anyone, but what worked a couple of years ago doesn't work anymore now. What did I miss on that one?
You didn't miss anything. Like, you nailed it perfectly. I think consumer habits have changed, like we spoke about last episode, and the way that people are consuming social media is that they want to They want to like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they followed you for a reason. They want to like you. Give them a reason to like you. We had this conversation at our retreat recently where we spoke about the fact that, like, whenever you go on holidays, your story views shoot up. Everyone wants to watch what you're up to. And there's a reason for that, because you're doing interesting stuff, because you're doing stuff that is cool and, fascinating for someone watching. And the more cool shit you do, the more views you get. And then if you just drop a little link to work with me in amongst
CTA.
that cool thing,
Yep.
then you're going to make a ton of money because you're getting a lot more opportunity to sell to those people. And so the answer that I would give Carla here is, like, people are following you for a reason. Like, give them a reason to remember, like, why they chose to follow you. And it probably wasn't because you were selling every single day. It was probably because you were talking about something passionately, or you were sharing your life, or you were showing the behind the scenes. Like, and the more that people like you, the more they're going to want to reach out and buy from you. Like, we almost never sell on our social media. Like, what percentage of, like, actual links do you think that you put up to say, come and work with me?
1%.
Like 1%.
Or less than 1%. I've got one for you, Carla, here. Run ads. So you can run ads to your warm audience, and they're going to see that shit because you're paying for it. That's a really easy way to do it. You don't have to worry about playing the organic content game that everyone else wants to play. Everyone in this niche plays as well.
Guys, it's just diminishing returns. Like, I don't get why people still harp on, like, how do we get more? Like, just do more cool shit and sell somewhere else. Sell in DM, sell on ads, sell on email, sell anywhere.
On to question 2 from Elizabeth H. I keep getting stuck at 10K months. Sad react. I have 30 hours a week and 20 hours I'm working on clients for an hourly rate. The rest is marketing and admin. What am I doing wrong? Steph, I'm a little confused on this question. You wrote it. So just explain to me, she's got 30 hours total. That's all she's working?
Yes.
And she's only got 10 hours a week to work on her business, basically, after doing the client work.
Yeah. So the biggest issue I see with this question here is she's got 30 hours a week, 20 hours of client work, 10 hours of marketing and admin. What's going wrong? The biggest problem with what Elizabeth is doing right now is in one tiny part that you could have almost overlooked here, where she is selling her time for an hourly rate.
Yep.
And that is the biggest problem with this entire thing, because she is never going to be able to increase the amount that she makes on 20 hours. She can only do 20 hours of work. Like, her maximum amount of work she can do is 30 hours. There are admin and working on the business stuff that you have to do. So she has to allow 10 hours for that, which means if she charges an hourly rate, she's always going to be limited at this point. So I know what Elizabeth does. She works in a branding, website, build space. And the best thing that you need to do is sell in packages, like sell $5,000, $10,000 packages, sell outcomes, sell builds, sell entire branded packages and offers, branding, website, funnels, like sell it all and make $30,000 per client instead of charging $175 or $200 or $300 or $400 an hour. Wherever you charge an hourly rate for your service, you will always be limited in the income that you can earn.
Yeah, I'm just going to speak to this in a different lens. And this is no slight on Elizabeth. I don't mean this disparagingly or in a harsh way, but if you've only got 10 hours a week and you want to grow your business, it's going to be very hard to do. And I don't mean to put anyone off if you've only got 10 hours a week to grow your business. All I'm saying is shit's going to take a bit longer than that. You're in this point because there is a skill gap. So there's a lack of skills with marketing. There's a lack of skills with email, ads, sales, whatever it is. So it's going to take time to get that. I know 10 hours a week compiled, every week of the year is a good amount of time, but I think there is like a bit of an expectation that she should be further along than she is. But I would argue that it's going to take more than 10 hours a week to build the skills that she needs and is required to take her to the next level. So if you're someone that's out there complaining about your income not being where it is, look at how much time you're actually putting into this stuff. And maybe we'll work through some examples here of like, people ask us like, how many hours do we put into things that we do and marketing and growing the business? And Steph, like, how many hours a week do you work actually?
I mean, realistically, there's two of us. Like, I feel like it's an unfair advantage. Like, we have an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
I'm working probably at the moment. I've reduced output because we're trying to go through IVF and we're trying to, get pregnant and leave my body as like a neutral position. But
simple.
Let's say that I was working, even right now, I'm probably still working 25 to 30 hours a week. You're working
60, 70 hours a week on top of that. It takes time to move a company, and it takes concerted effort. And, a lot of the times, a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Yeah. And I think just talk to this, Tim. I'd love to talk through this a little bit more. Talk me through how many hours would someone need to be spending on their business and what activities would you recommend them doing? In this case, like in Elizabeth's case, like not specific to her necessarily, but what is the recommended dosage of hours? And when you say on versus in, what does that mean?
Yeah, so the more hours you work, generally the better. And I don't mean to not have a life in there, and I don't mean to stay up every day, but like if you're going to lock the fuck in and do something, like do it. So on versus in is basically, on is just working on essentially stuff that's going to grow the business, so growth activities. And in is like doing client work. So Elizabeth has a 66% split here towards doing client deliverables, and that actually doesn't grow a business. And only 33% of her time is on the other stuff, where you need to flip that. An example, Steph and I, we spend most of our time working on the business and not in the business. So client delivery is a very small part of what we do because there's so much sales and marketing activity that is required to sustain a business of our size.
Yeah. And the problem with Elizabeth's point here is that because she's charging an hourly rate and it's a fixed income and she's earning less than $10,000 a month, it's going to be really hard for her to hire somebody to handle client delivery because there's just not enough margin there. And so she's going to constantly hit this cost cap over and over again until she changes her pricing structure.
All right. So question 3 coming from Harmon J. How do you go about reaching out to old clients and asking them to work with you again?
Feels like a bit of a trick question because I think that business is disgustingly simple. And I think that it gets to be as simple as, and I could be wrong, you may have a more clever way of doing this. I think it gets to be as simple as, hey, how have things been? Haven't heard from you in a little while. I'm either running an ex-client offer, I would love to get you back in, currently running an offer. If you're needing some help, would love to get you back on the books. Or, I was thinking of you, I'd love a little update, where are things at? And then they're going to tell you where they're at. And then you're going to say, hey, well, it sounds like you could probably use some help. Let's have a conversation about that. I think that in Harmon's view of the world right now, she probably thinks that her ex-clients don't want to hear from her. I think if you go into these endeavors and you already have a belief about what people think about you or how it's going to work, then it's going to be really hard for you to actually make it come off and make it work. So you have to go into it imagining that they don't hate you. They love to hear from you. and you're doing them a service by reaching out again, and you're probably going to land more clients that way.
I'm just going to give you another angle on that. It's a bit of free game for you guys, so feel free to use this one. But I always love the passive reach out. So it's like, hey, how you doing? By the way, I'm running this new thing. Let me know if you have any friends that would be interested in it, XYZ. So you're not actually asking them and having this awkward conversation if they want to come back and work for you. You're asking them if they have any referrals or friends, which is always a great way to do it, because a lot of the time you don't want to get into that uncomfortable position or that situation.
Really great free game.
Yeah, free game right there, guys. If you want some paid game, my bank account's open for some paid game as well, and we will help you grow your business for that paid game. We have a new URL, by the way, guys. It's called startsuccessschool.com. Go there, book a free chat with our team, scale session, and we would love to talk about your business and how we can help you grow.
Side note, why did we change from makemoreprofit.com?
Side note, I've been using my boy Manus AI, that is, to basically analyze our business as a whole. So I'm going through, I'm like, here's our ideal client, here's our branding, here's our website. What doesn't make sense? And the top thing that came up was there was not enough congruency between the brands. So we were using successschool.io for our landing pages, and this was for our webinars and stuff. Our website was makemoreprofit.com, and then we were running a bunch of other domains. And it's pretty crazy on our back end, by the way. Everyone in our team has a different email address, which is pretty wild. I think we've got Steph's at stephgorton.com. I'm at makemoreprofit. Size at successschool.io.
No, Si's got like six. Si's got like six emails.
Yeah.
We've got startsuccessschool.com, successschool.io, makemoreprofit.com.
So they're all under one roof now. So we're migrating them all in. We're very professional. Everyone's going to have the same URL very soon. So we've really got our shit together, guys. So that's why you want to work with us.
Definitely take business advice from us.
Yeah, you should definitely take business advice from us. Look, guys, we're not saying we're the king and queen of operation. We're we do pretty good at marketing.
Do you know what? We're a bit scrappy, and scrappy's good, because scrappy's got us this far. Like, you don't build a fucking $3 million business, by not being scrappy.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Back to Jody.
Go harder.
Go harder.
All right. Question 4 from Jody. This is definitely a you question, Steph. How are you preparing for the work-life balance going into parenthood? How do you prepare for something you've never fucking done?
Yeah, dude, we have no idea. Like, real talk, we literally have no idea what we're doing. And my best friend just gave birth, and she's been giving me updates, and apparently it takes like so much time. So we're just preparing for I'm preparing for that. So effectively, what we've been trying to do, and we've been really intentional about this, honestly, for the last 2 years, is been winding my role back. Now, the actual process of winding my role back was incredibly simple. Fortunately, I made it incredibly difficult. And I made it incredibly difficult because I didn't know this about myself until recently, but one of my key traits is I like to be useful, and I also like to be needed. And when I, over the years, have become less and less needed by my clients, and now I need to be less and less needed by the team. And so it's been quite uncomfortable. It's actually been an uncoupling for me of like an identity that's been having to let go. So Tim, nothing really has changed for him. He's just honestly just taken on more workload. But for me, it's been very intentionally setting myself up to allow myself to feel bored, to know that the business can completely run really without needing a lot of me. We probably need me 3 to 4 hours a week, 3 to 4 hours a week maximum is probably all that will be required of me for the foreseeable future. I'm doing a lot more than that now because I choose to, because I'm not pregnant and I don't have a baby.
Yeah.
But the business right now could suffice completely without me. The answer to your question around work-life balance, though, and this is coming from somebody who I know has children, I don't think there's any right way to do that. And I don't think anyone should advise anybody on how to do that, because I think that work-life balance is such an individualistic experience. Like, I don't know on the other side what kind of mother I'm going to be. I might be the kind of woman who's like, oh my God, I've had a baby. Now I want to bake bread all day and, be a trad wife. Like, that I highly doubt that's going to be my existence. Yep. Tim would love that. But I don't think that's how I'm going to be. And I love to work. I love it. Like, I enjoy the process of working. I love building. I love being part of the team. I love being part of our clients' journeys.
Your projects say otherwise.
Yeah, they do. They do say otherwise. I love it sometimes. And no, but genuinely, I would open my laptop every single day by choice because I want to. And so I don't think anyone could advise anyone else. I think it needs to come down to like what feels good for you. And if you're the kind of person who loves to work and that brings you joy and that gives you life and that makes you a better mother and that makes you a better wife and that brings more to your household, then you should prioritize that thing as well, Yep. And so I can't give the advice. I'm not there yet, but I think it needs to come down to like what feels good for you.
I got 2 points to add to this. The first one is the fatherhood component. So I've had a lot of advice about what courses to do and books to read. And my answer to people is, fuck that. I'm not doing or reading shit. I'm going into this thing raw. I'm going to have no idea what to do, and I'm going to work it the fuck out. Because I just don't want to be influenced by anyone else on how I raise my child. I want to raise it how I want to raise it and see how badly I can fuck it up. I'm just kidding. I think we're going to be fine. And then the second part is, it's probably been most challenging preparing for this from the team's perspective. A lot of the times, I don't know, somehow they think that it would be better to ask you certain things in the role. And then Steph's like, hey, so-and-so's asking me this. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, I've told them just to leave Steph the fuck alone and just ask me all the questions. That's just been like challenging as a leader, just to get through to that. Cause it's just constant reminders like, don't fucking message Steph, message me. Any like drama. We don't want to cause Steph any stress because we're just trying to conceive a child at the moment. Like it's very challenging.
I've been guilty of it though. Yeah. Like I literally jumped into like, I've noticed in myself, like I have to hold back. Like I jumped into one of the team chats today, like private message one of the team members. I was like, hey, so what about this? And then they would come back to me. Of course, they're going to come back to me, and then they'll have questions. And I'll be like, oh, so-and-so asked me this today. And like, so I have noticed myself having to actually actively just be like, well, if I'm going to ask a question, ask in the group chat so that everybody can be across the answer.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, sometimes like it's been really hard for me to just like take my nose out of the business, you know?
And just to summarize this, guys, we have been preparing for this for like 3 years. By the time we actually do have a kid, we're so fucking prepared. Like the team's ready, like Steph's ready. Like she could go off tomorrow and we would be fine.
Yeah.
I still think we would hit all of our targets. Like I've got all the videos of Steph. We've got content. We've got everything ready to go. Like she could take as long as she needs off. But I think a lot of people get into this situation of like, you know, having a kid and they're completely underprepared from a business perspective. Like they haven't done the work.
The amount of times that I've had women reach out to me, they're like are ready to give birth in 3 months. They're like, okay, I'm just need to start prepping my business to take time off. I'm like, oh my God, you have left it way too late.
Dude.
Like way too late. Like we have been prepping this mat leave since forever. Like we started this business because we knew that we were going to like, pretty much. We started Success School 3 years ago.
Yeah. For the reason,
For this reason, because we knew that we needed Tim in the coaching program so that when I take time off, like the whole
team doesn't fall apart.
The whole thing doesn't fall apart, you know? So yeah, like when we said that we've been preparing for this, guys, like I can't, like we've done trauma work, we've done like every single thing that you could possibly do to be prepared for this. We are like so prepared.
Yeah.
But we're not prepared to probably have a child, so it'd be fun. It'd be fun to
it'd be fun.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I'm not concerned. I don't buy into all the shit that people say about it, so I just want to feel it and probably eat my words on that one as well. Question number 5 from Brianna M. What's the greatest piece of marketing advice you've ever been given? This is a bit counterintuitive advice, but just to test as much as possible, like maximum volume on all of the things. So I'm talking ads, email, organic, everything, just to work out what works. So just to give you a worked example on that is, you know, we ran, you know, fuck knows, I don't even know how much, but like probably like $1 million in ads on our own account, sent, I think over like 2 or 3 million emails. We've both posted like 2,000 or 3,000 times each over the last couple of years. So we have a pretty good feel of what works in marketing. I think a lot of people are just trying to get the right answer rather than just test a bunch of stuff. And really what it comes down to, once you've got frameworks, once you've got tools, once you've got a strategy, it's just testing a whole bunch of shit to find out what resonates with your audience. So we recently did a deep dive, Manus did a deep dive on our ads account and found that anything time bound was a real winner for click-through rate for us. So we know that our audience want a result in as little time as possible. I don't know what that says about our audience, but that's just what they want. What about you?
You know what? I've heard this piece of advice since forever. Like this piece of advice is not new. When I say it, guys, you are going to be like, well, duh, obviously this piece of advice has been around literally forever. But you know how sometimes like someone can tell you about the feeling of love, but then when you feel it, you can't describe it, right? Like there's something that just has to be felt. I recently felt this piece of advice, which is solve rich people problems.
Oh, yeah.
And I obviously, guys, that Alex Hormozy has coined that. It has been around since way probably before him.
Yeah.
You know, you want to solve problems for rich people. And I've been like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think I probably had some story about why I couldn't do that or how I couldn't serve those people or I didn't know enough or something was running that was stopping me from actually implementing that piece of advice. But recently we have transitioned our entire program and our offer and everything towards solving people's problems who just are at a different stage of business. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're rich. Maybe they are. I think that's a word that can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. But ultimately, we are now solving problems for businesses that are a bigger size. And I know this sounds crazy, but they are actually easier to work with. and I know that that's annoyingly obvious. If you're listening to this podcast, you'll be like, duh, this is so obvious and very annoying. But like, truly take it from somebody who didn't think she could service those people, didn't know how to find those people, had all these stories about why they wouldn't work with her and all this just nonsense that's really just held me back from going after these people for the last, fucking 10 years of being in business. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
It just is.
We recently took on a one-to-one client, Emily, and I remember this very clearly. I messaged her and I was like, yo, we're running this strategy. It's a confirmation page. I need these 10 videos filmed. She had it back and edited within 24 hours from her editor. And I'm talking like not simple shit to do. This is like professional camera, fully edited, everything done. They're obviously a higher level client, a caliber, but when I tell you that solving rich people problems is the easiest thing you ever do because they're so easy to work with because they just get it done.
Because they're operators. Because what it takes to have a business of that size, like in Emily's example, like to have the business of the size they have children, they have they train a lot, like they have a lot of other stuff going on in their lives. But to have a business that gets past a certain revenue level, you have to be a certain type of operator.
Yeah.
And those people are just a lot easier to work with. They make decisions incredibly logically because even if they're emotional, they've been through so much shit over the past however long decade that they've been in business. They're like, big investments don't really scare them.
Yep.
They've made big investments. They've lost big money. They've kind of learned the self-trust muscle. They've done a lot of work. And so it's just a lot easier to sell to them and work with them and get them to implement. And then they get better results because they implement faster. And then they get more referrals. And it's just kind of this beautiful thing that just kind of coexists. And I wish for you, if you're listening to this episode right now, that you would go and find that corner of the market that is willing to pay for what you want. And I'll say this clearly and I'll say it once, like there are fewer of them. So you will have a loud minority of people that'll be in your DMs that can't afford your offer. That doesn't mean that you should lower the value of your offer. That also doesn't mean that you should create a secondary offer to sell to those people. Just go and find the corner of the market, the 20% of people on the internet that will buy the thing that you want. And if you just go and find them, you will make so much more money, way more effortlessly than trying to sell lots and lots of volume to people who don't have money.
Yeah, and just like Elizabeth's question, which was like stuck at 10K months, this also could be the answer for that. You're just servicing the wrong market. If your business is stuck, you're just servicing the wrong people as well.
Like if I had someone, and this is no slight on Elizabeth at all, but like if I had somebody who came to me and they were like, hey, yeah, I'll do your website for like $200 an hour, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, weird.
That's odd, right? That's unusual. Like usually, I mean, I would expect to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 these days because that's what the best people are charging. And so I think that you kind of undersell yourself when you undercharge and people just don't take you as seriously. So charge more, find your corner of the market, stick to your price points. It'll take you a little bit of time to get there, but once you get there, you're going to crush.
All right, guys, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're on. It's been great. Send us any questions for next week and don't forget to subscribe.
Guys, it was lovely to hang out. We'll see you next week.
See ya.